Hey everybody, Kevin Shortell here once again. This is part 3 of an ongoing series talking about how the pandemic that we are in is affecting the note business, real estate business really in general, but the note business in specific. I call this one the delinquency benchmark we will now measure from. What I mean by that is this. In January of this year, we were at a 20-year low for overall delinquencies. This is before the virus information started coming out. So when we start to move through the year here and we start to look at May, June, and July and see what happens to delinquencies, we'll be measuring back from the statistics in January 2020 and by continuation January 2019. So all of this information came from CoreLogic Insight report that just came out in April, reporting back on all of the numbers from January, and they did a great job in laying this out. So 30 days or more delinquent, we're talking nationwide here through January 2020. Here's the baseline numbers. January 2019, 4% delinquency rate. January 2020, 3.5% delinquency, and you can see that's simply a year-over-year change of 0.5%. So very, very low. In fact, as I mentioned, this is the lowest it's been in 20 years in January 2020. So we've done a good job in the recovery since then, because you have to remember in 2010, delinquency rates peaked at just over 10%. So it's been a long road to get that back down to any sense of normalcy. And now, unfortunately, in this pandemic, we could see those numbers start to go the other way. In the meantime, though, the 30 days or more delinquent is looking really good. Seriously delinquent is also looking good. Now, the difference there is delinquency is 30, 60 days. Once it gets to 90 days or above, it's considered seriously delinquent. So serious delinquencies also decreased in most all states. In fact, the only two states where it didn't decrease had no change. Okay, so we're in good shape for the short-term default rate and the longer-term default rate. In fact, there were some big strides in states that were really hard hit here. In fact, these two states had the biggest declines. But overall, throughout the United States, for 5 consecutive months, not a single state reported a year-over-year increase in overall delinquency. So that's been a very, very good thing. Mississippi dropped 1.1%, North Carolina almost 1% decline. These are big declines over that period of time. So in a bigger picture of all things, you can see that the trend lines from the 30 days or more, the 30 to 59 days, the 60 to 89, the 90 to 119, and even the 120 plus days in past due, they've all been going down on this trajectory from 2019, 2020, each one of those various categories. And look at foreclosures, by the way, on the end there to your right, 0.4% January 2019, 0.4% January 2020. So the foreclosures, the number of properties in foreclosures has been on a drastic decline. That's why they've been so difficult to find. That's why investors who used to go to the courthouses and bid on foreclosures found that they couldn't find good deals. It's a shrinkage of inventory. More opportunity was in the note business for all of these years since the last crash in 2010. The next one shows us this. What's the transition rate from 2019 to 2020, and compare those as well? Once again, the trajectory is down overall. Kind of an interesting thing here, though, that I'll point out also. So current to 30 days late, less than 1%, right? 0.8% in 2019, 0.6% in 2020. The 30 to 60 day mark, 14.9, took a 1% drop down to 13.9 over the course of the year. And then after 60 days, I always refer to this as the slippery slope, because when you own a note and your note is now 2 months behind, 60 days, you can count on a good percentage of those going to 90 days late. That's why it's important that you're proactive if you own notes to jump on this early. So you can see that trend there, 60 to 90 days. These notes, the longer they go without the payment, the bigger percentage you're going to see here. So 24.9, 23.5, but still overall very good. In fact, if we broke down the serious delinquencies instead of by state into metropolitan areas here, you can see there's only 11 metropolitan areas that saw an increase in serious delinquencies. So you've got some there in Ohio, Illinois, Iowa, California, Colorado, Oklahoma, Texas, so you can, and Nebraska. So you can see they're a little bit scattered. There's only 11 metropolitan areas that saw an increase in serious delinquencies. So that is also good news, but we don't know what's happening yet. Right? All of a sudden, we're going to see these notes start to go into delinquency and eventually default. And default means that we've got to take more drastic measures such as foreclosure. So that's why I've been telling everybody, if you own notes right now, stay ahead of the curve. Be proactive. Get those letters. Reach out to people. Do temporary loan modifications if you have to. If you own notes right now and you want to sell before you get some tarnish on them, if you will, because of slow payments or no payments, it might be time to sell off all of your note or part of your note. If you're a small investor, mom and pop type of note owners, they're probably looking to cash out of some of that. So there is opportunities within all of this, but I think we can all safely assume that these numbers, these rates that we're seeing here are, if they're going anywhere, are going to go up. As I'm recording this, reports have come out that now 16 million people have filed for unemployment. Now, hopefully that's very short term. By May, June, we're back. The stores are opening, the restaurants are opening, and America gets back to work. But if they don't, these numbers are going to go up. Even if it's just 2 or 3 months, expect to see these numbers go up. And you know what? Our opportunity is going to be to help people stay in their homes. We can be very quick on this. We can operate. We can move a lot quicker than banks and other lenders can. So once again, it's going to come down to entrepreneurs like you and I that can come in, buy these notes at good prices, work with the borrowers who want to stay in their homes. And that's going to be the name of the game coming up in 2020. So hope you enjoyed this insight. Look forward to putting together another one for you soon.